Welcome back to Wrestling Travel Presents the Lockdown Sessions. Today we are honored to have with us Tiny Love. Tiny Love, welcome to the Lockdown Sessions.
Thanks. Glad to be here. Happy to be here. I'm glad you have me.
Right now, do you go by Tiny Love or can we call you Tiny?
You could just call me Tiny if you want. It's a lot easier. That's fine.
Perfect. Tiny, you're joining us. You were one who was instrumental in helping us out during WrestleMania weekend, where we did the virtual Mania crawl. We raised over $3,300 for the Red Cross. So I want to thank you for that, for providing us with a promo. But you were very instrumental in helping Wrestling Travel reach out to many other wrestlers who weren't aware. Could not have done it without you. So 2 thank yous before we even get started.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. I'm just here to help. I want to help everybody involved. And, in this time, Red Cross is a good cause,
Yeah, absolutely. So what we wanted to do is get a chance for, that we're a company out of the United Kingdom, even though I am calling you from the great state of Wisconsin, and that's where you are too. We're about 4 hours away from each other. So I wanted to get a chance for the wrestling fans during this lockdown to find out a little bit more about the people that helped us out. Tiny, how long have you been in the business?
October 16th of 98 is my first match. So almost 22 years since my first match.
Fantastic. Can you tell us who broke you in?
Actually, I started with Powerhouse. Well, it was Badger State Pro Wrestling, moved to Powerhouse Pro Wrestling. And from there is what happened is they had a ring set up in Fond du Lac, which is north of my house, like 35 minutes. And we would go there in the back room. I'd have a ring set up, and it was myself and my main trainers that I learned from were Rob Norwood and Cujo, the Dog of War. And me and another guy, we would train with these guys like 4 hours a night, Monday through Thursday for 6 months. Plus, when you go to shows, you get the ring up, then you get ring time before the show starts, and then you get all these veterans coming in there, and you just, I was told young, just shut up, act like a sponge, and enjoy the knowledge. And so, like guys like Mike Mercury, Eric Hammers, Judge Jesse, all kinds of people, Angel Armani, just watching them, listening to them in the ring, that's where I get a lot of my psychology with wrestling.
Judge Jesse, we actually just had on not too long ago.
Yeah, he's actually a good friend of mine in the business.
Oh, okay, fantastic. So your first match was in 2018. Can you guess how many matches?
My first match was in 1998, dude.
I said 2018.
2018.
Wow. Sorry, it's
20 years earlier,
but yeah, 20 years. I was just testing you. So 1998 is your first match. Yeah. Can you have a rough guesstimate of how many matches you have under your belt since then?
Well, I took a hiatus for a couple of years. Just my life wasn't right, and I fell in a problem with alcohol. So I just needed to get my life right and understand my priorities in life. So, I mean, in the first 2 or 3 years, I probably have 500-600 in the first 2 years, if not more. So I'd probably say I'm up at around over 1,000.
Wow. Fantastic. So how many have you gotten to share the stage with some of the bigger quote-unquote names? And if so, what are some of the bigger names that you've been in the ring with?
Actually, I've shared the ring with Coco Beware. And if that never happened again, I would be happy with that.
Do you care to elaborate? Or?
Oh, sure. I don't care. Actually, there was a time down in Muskego that we were in the locker room, and Coco Beware and I had to be split up by the locker room guys.
Wow.
Just the promoter that brought him in never would tell him anything, and all he wanted to do is like not even have a wrestling match. He would never take a bump. He would just want to beat the hell out of you. And I said to the promoter, I'm like, dude, why bring him in if he makes us look weak every time? If he's not willing to even take a bump, why pay the money? He goes, well, what do you want me to do? I'm like, you're paying him the money, dude. You can tell him what you want. So finally, I guess somebody said something to him, and he caught wind of it, and he approached me in the locker room about it. I said, listen, dude.
This is Coco.
Yes, I'm talking to Coco now, and I'm talking to him. in this like tent because it was an outside show up in Muskego, and we're in the tent, and he's like, "So I hear you've been talking shit." I'm like, no, I'm telling truth, man. I'm talking truth. And he's like, well, I'm like, dude, I just don't understand why you can't come in and have a match with us and take a bump. He's like, this is verbatim what he said to me. He's like, well, I could take a bump off of the top rope. I don't have to do that anymore. I'm like, I'm not asking you to do that, dude. Just a simple bump from a clothesline or something. And he's like, well, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, I don't? I said, dude, yeah, you were there, but you were the guy that they needed at the time. You're nothing but a glorified jobber in the WWF. I think that's when he jumped out of his seat.
I'd say he might have got mad at that one. Okay, so how did that end up?
Just a lot of locker room boys, because we were going to go head-to-head. We were going to go to blows. The guys split us up in the locker room. I'm like, listen, dude, I mean no disrespect, but we put on the gear the same way, one leg at a time, one boot at a time, just like that. And when you leave here, then we got to come back to these places, and then we look weak. That's all I'm saying, dude. I'm not saying you have to lose or anything, but just to have a little match and you take one bump, that's all I was saying. So I think we squashed it, but it's not like we're best friends and going to go break bread tomorrow, you know?
All right. That is
other than that, I was on a show in Indiana once, and Dan Severn was on it. Really weird. I like to get to the shows early to understand what, especially if I'm not familiar with the company. And right. So I go to shows early, and because that's what you do in my mind. That's what pros do. And so I'm sitting there. The show starts at 7, and I'm in the locker room at 5 getting dressed, and I'm the only one in there yet. Severn comes in. He's like, where's everybody else? I'm like, you got me, man. You got me. I have no clue. So he sits next to me, and we just start talking crap and shooting the shit. And, you know, finally, this is no lie, at about 6:30, 6:45 is when all the rest of the guys started rolling in, dude. And I just, exactly what you're doing now is I shook my head, dude. I'm like, oh, boy, what did I get myself into? Other than that, I've been on the same card as, like, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I wrestled Wildfire Tommy Rich last summer. That was cool. I was
there.
Him and Dirty Ernie.
Fantastic. I'm gonna back up. You and Dan Severn are at a show in Indiana. I'm assuming that if none of the boys showed up until 6:45, that the ring was already set up.
Yep.
Okay.
The guy owned the building. Well, it was set up until Dan Severn's match. Him and the big guy he was working took a bump and destroyed it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Who's on you got a wish list? I know you've watched the show, so I asked some similar questions, but you got a bucket list of somebody who, hey man, I know you a little bit outside of this interview, so I know that you're not you're a guy who's very proud of what you do and who you wrestle, but is there anybody on that list that, hey, I wouldn't mind stepping in the ring with this guy before it's all said and done?
I really don't have a big bucket list, but now that you put me on the spot, I'd have to say there's like 1 to 3 because I consider them ring generals, and it would be so much fun because I've noticed things that they've done in the ring that normal people don't notice. One would be Triple H, just because he's such a good ring general. Like, excuse me, I seen him with a match with Chris Jericho, and he's on the outside against the barricade, just leaning on it. Jericho comes running at him, and he's slapping his thigh. I know exactly what he's doing. He's putting up his boot, you know, stuff like that. That's what intrigues me, you know. I think Jericho would be fun because I think he's a very good ring general as well. And the other guy is just because I think he's a good talent, and I think a lot of people crap on him for no reason, is Bray Wyatt. For his size, he is a very talented guy. So.
All right. Now, you're a big man.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. So, who are some of the bigger guys that you look up to, or who do you think some of the best big men have been in the sport?
Jerry Blackwell. Fun little fact is you, my friend, you said you talked to Road Warrior Animal. and you asked him about Jerry Blackwell, he said he's one of the lightest guys you'll ever work in the business, which is amazing. And if you look at his work, like his standing drop kick to your face at that size is unbelievable. And then I transition that into Bam Bam Bigelow, who does the same thing. That's just unbelievable too. So yeah, Bam Bam Bigelow. Excuse me. Ooh.
Have a drink.
Yeah.
Take a
Bam Bam
drink.
Bigelow, Jerry Blackwell, and a very instrumental guy for me, believe it or not, even though he's not a big dude, was Angel Armani. He might not be a big dude, but he can give you so much ring psychology on being a big guy and how to work like that. It's amazing.
Yeah, for those not familiar, Angel Armani, a wrestler here in the Midwest who I spoke with him, spoke about him the other day with a couple of different guys. Armani freely will give you knowledge and speak back to you at a show. I saw it actually at your last show in October, where he took Robbie J and Sean, asked them to come up to his site to train the next day. They had other obligations. So he took them behind the cousin sub van and spent the main event with them, giving them knowledge. And those boys appreciate it, and I know he appreciates doing it. I got knowledge from him 20 years ago. He doesn't remember me. Didn't remember me when I talked to him, but treated me just like he did in 99, 2000.
No disrespect to you, but not a lot of people do remember you, Justin, even as Johnny Barracuda. And one fun fact that people might not know about you is you were trained by Eddie Sharkey. So that's an amazing feat in itself.
Yeah, it was great. Eddie Sharkey, Brad Kohler, Terry Fox.
Yeah.
The coolest thing was watching Lenny Lane, who was on TV, just come in and go, "Hey, why don't you do shit this way?" Well, Mr. Lane, because I'm not that far. I haven't taught it. You talk about Jerry Blackwell throwing a drop kick. I actually got in the most trouble I ever got into for wanting to throw a drop kick too early and throwing a drop kick. So, you threw me on my trade. It's all supposed to be about you, Tiny, not about me.
Well, I know, but you know what? I like giving back, and that you know me. I like giving back to other people that give to us. So,
Jerry Blackwell. I wanted to say, when you go Jerry Blackwell, Bam Bam Bigelow. Bam Bam Bigelow is what I used to call myself. I can't say it anymore, but I used to say I was fit fat, which meant that I was fat, but I could still move a little bit. When you talk about Jerry Blackwell, that guy did not look, and I love Jerry Blackwell. I almost got in a huge fight drunkenly at college over somebody who called Jerry Blackwell a fat slob, and I think I had the guy up against the wall. But for him, looking like, hey, man, he's out of shape, throwing those drop kicks, and then just Animal. I got a chance to speak to Animal. Said, hey, can I ask you a few questions at a show?
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure. I'm a huge AWA fan, and I'm a huge Jerry Blackwell fan. So it warms my heart to hear you mention Jerry Blackwell.
Well, and the biggest thing, too, is just my honest opinion. You know what pro wrestling is missing nowadays? Is characters. They're missing characters. Go back in the times of Hillbilly Jim, Andre the Giant, King Kong Bundy. You got all these different characters. Doink the Clown, the Bushwhackers, LOD, Demolition, Yokozuna. You've got characters, and that draws the people in. All the cookie cutters, which, hey, that's what they do. I'm not discounting that. But I think you bring the characters back, you bring the theatrics back, and I think more people get into it that way.
Now, somebody might argue, and I'll argue the other side of it. You've got a character like The Fiend. You've got some characters coming back into it. I mean, The Fiend is the big one off the top of my head. Mm-hmm. But and
I'm going to ask you, what happened with The Fiend? It brought more people in, and they brought them in and made them think like, oh, my God, this is cool. You just proved my point.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
That's what I'm here for. I'm trying to think of any. Does AEW have any? I mean, how about AEW when they've got the Dark Order and they've brought Brody Lee, formerly known as Luke Harper, and would you count that as characters?
I would consider that characters because they're doing something with it different. I would also consider sorry, I just got a text message. So I would also consider like the Lucha Brothers. They're kind of characters, or the Private Party. They're kind of characters. They're like high flyers and characters, best friends. And I know you don't like the guy, but Orange Cassidy, he's a character. You know, I had to go there for you, buddy. But yeah, there's tons of characters that are in different things. Like ROH, the Bouncers, the Beer City Bruiser. That's a character. People get into that. The Last Real Man. He's not just Silas Young, but he's the last real man. You know, those are characters. People draw into that. That's just my opinion. You know.
Every time I get into conversation about ROH and the name Silas Young comes up, I will always have to admit that he's got the last man standing character. You see him in a magazine, you see a promo, great, but I didn't realize, stupidly, how awesome he is in the ring.
Yeah.
He looks like he's just going to be a stand there brawler, for better time, and he
can work.
Sweet.
He's a workhorse, man.
Dude, I gotta talk to Ring of Honor and see if I could get permission to speak with Silas or the Beer City Bruiser on this show. So I'd love to have him in. I can't tell him face to face like I tell everybody else. Is like, man, I just saw Last Man Standing and I figured he was just gonna be a Stan Hansen.
Yeah.
Punch and kick the hell out of you, which I'm sure he can, but watching him work, wow, outstanding. If you had to put you on the spot, you know my NFL question, which is a draft pick. Well, we're not going there, Tiny Love.
Oh, really? Okay.
5 wrestlers on your Mount Rushmore of wrestling.
Ooh, wow. Well, if I knew who Nick Bockwinkel was, I'd put him up there. But I don't know. Just an inside joke. I had to do it for you. Obviously, Jerry Blackwell's going to be one for me. Bam Bam Bigelow's going to be another for me. Just I value those two guys and their ring work just because I'm a big dude. And, you know, I firmly believe Bam Bam Bigelow was way before his time with his top rope antics and stuff like that.
I'm going to pause you right there because we're going to go on. Bam Bam Bigelow versus Lawrence Taylor at WrestleMania.
Oh.
Even at my younger age back then, I thought this match is going to be shit. But I tell you what, in Taylor, you could tell he was tired, but maybe he gets a lot of credit, but he deserves more credit for that match, Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yeah. He's like unbelievable talent, man. Gone way before his time. I think he had a lot more to give to the business. I got to say, for me, another guy, just because I was that kid younger when Ultimate Warrior came out, just, you know, I was in high school, and, you know, it attracted you. You know, and that's the first guy that attracted me to pro wrestling and the storylines and the characters. But then after I started watching it, that's when I grew to love Jerry Blackwell and Bam Bam. 4 and 5 is going to have to be, that's tough, man. I can put many people there, but I'm going to put Triple H there just because he's such a good ring general. And I'd like to believe that he believes in the young talent. It's him and Jericho are even on that one, okay?
Okay.
But the last one, I'm going to throw you for a loop. And I had this guy for my NFL draft. He's my number 1 NFL draft pick, and I'll tell you why. Terry Funk. Awesome. And this is why. When he went to ECW before any other names went there, he went to Paul Heyman and says, I will build that guy. I'll make that guy. And that's what he did. Put him in the ring with Terry Funk. Terry Funk tells the story in the ring, puts the guy over, does whatever he needs to do, and he makes him. He's the one that made Mikey Whipwreck. So, yeah, Terry Funk would be on there for me.
All right. Let's ask the same question. And I'm gonna name your first Mount Rushmore for indie guys, and that would be an Angel Armani. But are there? Yeah. Let's give. You know, I love independent wrestling, and I know you do too. But are there a few few names on the indie scene, and this is where it gets tough because if you leave somebody out, they might get a little hurt. But do you have a few names, indie
You know
guys?
what? If I leave somebody out and they get hurt, then they can come talk to me. It's nothing personable. More of it is like if they're tied, how is their interactions with me? And that's what I'll finish it off with.
Yeah.
As much as TW3 is going to be one of them, he gets it. He gets it. He understands. Like, he understands that there's fans. You got to get part of this. He also understands the political part of it. And he tries to stay away from that. So he totally gets it. Like I said, Angel Armani. I've never stepped in the ring with him, and I've never talked to him, but I've heard many great things about him, and I've seen his work, and that's got to be Derek St. Holmes.
Awesome.
I also like – it's hard for me because, like, I want to put people there because of their ring work and their mental, intellectual wrestling ability and help others. But then again, I also wonder where their attitude's at. Okay?
Okay.
And so, when I bring up other names, and I'm not saying this, but one guy that I really believe that could really go places, but and I've talked to him before about this, and that's Joey Jet Avalon. He's got the look, he's got the body, he's got the dude. I've seen his matches, and it just blows me away. And in fact, I tell him all the time, if he ever got in the ring with me, I'd slow his ass down. But back when he was an indie wrestler, I'd have to put Beer City Bruiser or Matt Winchester on there.
Formerly
Jay
known
Cash
as.
might be one of them guys. Jay Cash likes to give back to the business. So, and a guy that I've never worked with but is giving back to the business and helping train guys and stuff like that is Nick Colucci. He's up in the ACW camp and helping train guys and giving back, So that's really cool too. I'm all about giving back to business that gave to us. So guys that give back to the business, I just put on the Mount Rushmore.
Inconspicuous or conspicuous, whatever the correct terminology, by his absence would be Judge Jesse.
Oh, yeah. I see. Dude, when you put me on the spot, I'm not thinking about that.
I know. That's why I get to ask the question and not answer them. TW3, and you can say pass.
Let me go back, please. And I want to answer the Judge Jesse thing. Judge Jesse is good and is very good, and he deserves a spot up there. But the only thing is I didn't think of him out right away because he's more of an introvert, and I'm more of an extrovert. So, like, he will help guys if they come to him, but if they don't come to him, he just internalizes it. Where me, I'll seek out the guys, hey, this is what you did wrong. Maybe do this or try this. So maybe that's why Judge Jesse didn't come to mind, Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's all right, man. This is what this is. I'm going to go back to TW3, and you can pass on this question.
Okay.
Because we didn't name any names, and I don't want you to name any names.
No, that's fine.
Part of my mission has I've become aware through TW3 and others that there is perhaps in Wisconsin, you have to admit, has a lot of talented wrestlers right now.
Very much so. Hence, that's why I did the Wisconsin promo battle.
Right. We're going to get to that because talk about a guy who's trying to give back, and I know that. Is there a divide between workers in the Milwaukee area and the Green Bay area?
It's called the Milwaukee line, dude. Absolutely. Okay. Milwaukee line.
And do you think that's something – because I think – and I'm always positive, and I have been out of Wisconsin for a number of years before I came back. And Wisconsin's been awesome, the hotbed of talent that I see. But is there a possibility of that line being erased and everybody getting along?
I'm trying to curb that. And I hear many things about different people that are south of that line. And I'm trying part of the I'm trying to help guys get better, the young guys get better and do everything that they can. Because ultimately, it would be awesome to see a bunch of guys from Wisconsin in AEW, ROH, WWE. That would be sweet, dude, you know? So I believe there's a guy south of Milwaukee that harbors the drama that is all around that. And I've heard different things about him, and I just don't care for it. Because I don't believe things that I was taught in this business. There's no need for that.
Okay. So you're on the side of hopefully they can, because that's what when I first heard about it with TW3, you know, you hear rumors about it. And he actually, and that's not something that I want to bring up because, hey man, I don't want any.
No.
I don't want to eat with anybody that I don't need, and I'm just trying to get the conversation going. But as I started talking about it with TW3, I'm thinking, hey, lockdown sessions might be the avenue that we could go on to start maybe squashing some heat and begin healing. But that put aside, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say, if I'm not dropping a name on this whole thing, but if you want to go there, I'll go there. I don't care. But I just figured leave it out.
Yeah. I don't want to drop any names, and I want to. As a matter of fact, I want to talk to as many people I can on both sides of it, and just go, hey man, because it'd be cool. I respect the business, and I'm assuming that people on both sides of that line respect the business, and everybody would be better off.
And for those watching around the world that watch these, the Milwaukee is in Wisconsin, so anything north of that line is what we're talking about, and south of that line. And what that Milwaukee line is all about, we're saying, is there's a stigmata like, oh, well, don't work with them because they're like those guys, and those guys work up north, and those guys are south of the line. It's like just trying to curb that and get away from it, you know? That's kind of – sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you again, but I just wanted to explain
that's all right. Like I want to touch on I want to touch on it and not go too in-depth because I want to make sure that I'm being fair and balanced on both sides of it. So
no, I get it.
Speaking of giving back, though, you recently ran a promo battle for wrestlers in the state of Wisconsin. 32 professional wrestlers got together, did for those not aware of a promo battle, could you please explain what that was?
Basically, it worked like the NCAA bracket where one guy's paired up against another guy, and you have a minute and 30. You battle it out on who's better than who can make somebody buy a ticket into the building to watch that match. Okay? So that's basically what that was. And part of the reason I did that is to get back to the younger generation, to help them out, get better at promos, to make it fun, and have the fans have something during the COVID thing, have something fun for them to watch and look forward to.
And they did. You had quite a number of fans on there. I know the Beer City Bruiser was involved in judging and very willing to give back and help out everybody. Yeah. And the winner of the top two in that promo battle are getting a match on the next Wrestling for a Cause card, which, disclaimer, Tiny runs the WFC in Wisconsin. So that's awesome. Yeah.
They were TW3 came in second place, and first place was the Outlaws at Kendricks. And very young, up-and-coming talent, very, very, very good. And if you watch, anybody that watched that, seen his progression throughout them promos, was very, very cool to watch. Other young names that came out of nowhere were like Levi Yoder, Kodiak. Like Kodiak, if I was in Kodiak's shoes, I would be like, holy crap. Because he's still young and is super green. I mean, he's green as goose shit in this business, okay? And to have a succession of promos, and at the end of it, even though you lose, have Beer City Bruiser say, I didn't know who Kodiak was before this started, but I want to go meet him and watch him now, is amazing. I mean, to have somebody that's in ROH say that is pretty darn cool, and you should pat yourself on the back for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, if I'm a fan right now watching this, I know you're going into what you're calling a global promo battle where you've doubled the amount of wrestlers, but can you drop, if I'm watching this right now, how do I, as a fan, get in on this and watch and vote?
Go to Global Promo Battle, the page, and just like it. And starting Thursday are going to be the first promo battles that are going to go up Thursday at 4 p.m. Or did you have something? You stopped?
I'm just making sure that I'm being accurate, and I know this because we've discussed this before we got on. No secret here. But when you say go to the page, the Facebook page.
Yes. I'm sorry, I didn't specify. Right. Yeah, the Facebook page. Go to the Global Promo Battle Facebook page, and yeah, Thursday we got some big matchups. We got people from all around. Like, there's a hotbed in Vegas that they just sent me a hype video, like 4 minutes long. There's like 5 or 6 of them, and I'm going to be posting it on the page after we're done here. They're really hyped on this. So
cool. And we're talking Thursday. I just had to find the date, May 28th.
Yep.
But if you're watching this and it's past Thursday, May 28th, 2020, this promo battle goes on, I would say, a week or two, a couple weeks.
Yeah. So Thursday we're going to start. We're going to be putting up 8 battles that night, 4 at 4 p.m. and then 4 at 5 p.m. And every time I post a battle, it'll stay on that page for 28 hours. So people across seas, anybody that wants to watch it, feel free to jump on in. They're going to be open for 28 hours. And all on there, on the battles, it'll tell you what to do in order to vote.
Perfect. And some of the things I know, based on recent events, I know that your promo battles are PG. We don't need to get into any sexist, racist, derogatory things. These are good old-fashioned, fun promos.
Stand and deliver, baby.
Pitting 2 wrestlers against each other, male or female, and the bottom line is I watch a promo and I go, hey, after I watch them both, who kind of, sold me, got me in there and going, hey, I want to see this match.
Yeah.
Or, there's friends and family and stuff involved, I know, but it's just a good old something to do while we're kind of coming out of, hopefully, this lockdown.
Definitely.
So that's fantastic. And we'll get all the stuff up on the screen that we can, hopefully. At least it'll be embedded in the bottom of the YouTube. And hopefully and then let's hope so. And then hopefully this will get out before
can I touch on one thing too, if you don't mind?
It's your time, buddy.
I would love for people to go and check out WFC or Wrestling for a Cause Wisconsin and like that page. That's where my wrestling and all the proceeds go to charities and the county of Washington County and Wisconsin. It's local charities that all the proceeds go. So just go on there and have a look. And we haven't done anything for a while. Our last show was in October. We're still in transition on how to make that page better, but the more likes, the better. So if some people can do that, that'd be awesome.
That's awesome. So Wrestling for a Cause, I know.
Wrestling for a Cause, WI for Wisconsin. That
right.
Specifies it. So
the young gentleman, is it Mason?
Mason, yes.
Explain that story for me, for everybody.
My first show was Mayhem for Mason, and he's a little boy at the time. He wasn't 3 years old. He spent over half his life at Children's Heart Hospital in Milwaukee, and he's got a heart defect, and now he's actually on the transplant list. So my first show coming out of this is going to be Mayhem for Mason 2. Be looking for that. It's going to be one heck of a show. Try to raise money for you. Anybody that's been through it or know anything about it, those drugs, the anti-rejection medications, even with insurance, they're not cheap. So any money we can get to help the family with that is awesome.
And how old is Mason now?
I want to say 5 or 6.
5 or 6, okay, that sounds right.
Yeah.
No, and that's a lot of people don't know how passionate you are about the business and how passionate you are about helping people in the business and obviously helping people in general. So I was lucky enough to be involved in your last Wrestling for a Cause show in October, and hopefully I'm lucky enough to be involved and Wrestling Travel can be involved in the future. So
I would hope so.
Yeah. So in closing, Tiny, what have you been doing then besides, obviously, I always want to ask you, what have you been doing to keep yourself in wrestling mind? But I know that the promo battle has been taking a lot of your time, so I know you're doing that. But please tell me, you recently joined Twitter.
You funny guy. You funny guy.
No, I'm glad that you joined Twitter. It was my
man. It is
begging.
so hard. Like, you keep up with Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Now you got Snapchat and TikTok. Now, how does one person do all this? It's like I need a secretary to take care of all this.
So wait, are you telling me that you are on TikTok, Tiny Love?
Yeah.
Or soon to be?
No, I'm on there.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I'm on TikTok.
All right, so Tiny Love on TikTok. What is your
clock stops?
Oh my goodness. What is your Twitter handle off the top? Otherwise, we can throw it on there.
I don't know it. I'm gonna be honest with you.
All right, Tiny Love on Twitter, Tiny Love on Facebook, Tiny Love on
Instagram, Tiny Love on TikTok. Yeah.
Tiny Love on Snapchat.
Yeah, actually, I just don't know how to use all of them, man. I'm not technologically involved.
I'm just ribbing you here, but Tiny Love's MySpace is probably still up and valid. Tiny.
No, never had a MySpace.
Never had. Okay, well, I was trying to have a joke and you just squashed it there. So thank you.
Anything I can do.
Merchandise. I want a Tiny Love T-shirt. Where do I go? Do I just hit you up on Facebook?
Just contact me directly. Not only do I have T-shirts, but for the cheap seats and you clapper, I've got thunder sticks and beach balls. Yeah, buddy. I also have lanyards and bracelets and T-shirts.
And you also, back on a serious note, you have the Mayhem for Mason first show available on DVD, right? Limited?
Yes, I do. I still have a few more left.
Fantastic. So who hits you up on Facebook? Tiny Love if I want a T-shirt.
Actually, Fantastic. Tiny Hansen on Facebook.
Tiny Hansen. Can you spell Hansen for us?
Hansen. Not the O, but the E.
That was the big one, the E. So Tiny Love, in closing, I want to say thank you very much. We've extended our 15-minute limit, but
sorry, blew up.
No, you're good, buddy. So we thank you very much. We're looking forward to May 28th global promo battle. As fans, we can jump in and check it out. Where you have some people vote. You have some people from Vegas, but what's your furthest away from Wisconsin? Is it Vegas that you have wrestlers, or
Florida? I can't remember offhand. Yeah. I know I got some down in Arkansas, Vegas, California. I don't know if there's a guy from Maine that joined. I don't know if he's on alternate or he's on. I have some from Pennsylvania. I think New York, New Jersey. I want to say, I contacted people from overseas. Like there's a guy from Dublin, but he wanted a bunch of money, and guess what? There ain't no money from this kid. So I contacted a few people overseas that didn't get back to me. He's the only one that did, I think. So.
Okay. All righty. Well, fantastic. We cannot thank you enough. We look forward to – by the way, wrestling travel. We bring fans from all over the world to their favorite wrestling events. Real quick, last 30 seconds. Your favorite city to wrestle in?
Favorite city?
Yeah.
My hometown. My hometown, West Bend, man. West Bend, Wisconsin, brother. People love me here. That's a freaking adulation. That's an adrenaline rush that you'll never understand.
All righty, fantastic. Tiny Love, thank you very much.